Okay, so welcome. I'll give a bit of an introduction about us, the University of Derby Online Learning. We're a division of the University of Derby, and we've been providing online learning for just over 13 years now, so have a wealth of experience for online learning with our courses and also our academics. So we're a very vocationally orientated we have a very vocationally orientated portfolio of courses. So we've got perioperative through to nursing, integrative health. We have a vast range that also covers dementia, but we also cover other portfolios such as business through to engineering and IT. So as mentioned, we have an experienced academic team and who are all experts in their subject areas and within their fields of study. So everyone has got experience within working in the field and has that rich knowledge that they can share with you. You also have support from a non-academic support team who are our online learning advisors, and they can help you with anything from choosing your modules to fees and whether you're looking to take a break from study. So they're there for you throughout the whole of your online learning journey. So why study with us? So as mentioned again, you get structured and supported learning through your dedicated online tutors, and mentioned again about the academics who are experts in their field of study. So you're guaranteed that quality and assertiveness that you are taught by people who understand the field and understand about the subject area that you're learning about. You will obviously studying online, you get access to very innovative ways of learning, so whether that's interactive classrooms, online discussion forums, you'll have be invited to webinars. Also you can contribute through blogs, email, and also Skype. So the best thing about online learning is it's available day and night, so wherever you are. So if you're on holiday in Australia or you live in the USA, everything's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it makes it very accessible for everyone to learn online very easily. You also have access to an extensive e-library facilities, and this is kept up to date, and it's make sure that you have everything that you need online. And you're also getting a choice of 3 intakes when you study online. So for our intakes, it's January, May, and September. May is our next intake, and that term date will be starting on the 30th of May. Also, when you study online, you achieve a recognised British University Award. So when you do study with us, you will get a degree from the University of Derby, and it doesn't state that you studied online, just that you've studied with the University of Derby. So more benefits about studying online is you can, whether you're in work or you've got family or other personal commitments, you can fit your studies in and around that as well. You get enhanced career prospects and employability, so you can put into practice what you're learning and all the skills you gain directly into the workplace, so further implementing your knowledge. You'll develop contacts and friends from all around the world, so you'll have the opportunity to write on discussion forums, blogs, and really interact with your fellow students. And it's great because if you once you've completed your degree and if you're invited to graduation, then you also get to meet your cohort of students, so you get to put the face to names and vice versa. So you'll become part of global alumni, so you'll have professional links and networking opportunities, so you can share best practice, especially when in a field of health such as perioperative practice. You can really share that. So, and as mentioned before, there's no distinction that you studied online. You will just have a degree that's a UK University Award, so that will be the University of Derby. So I'll now pass over to Brian, who's going to talk you through our perioperative practice course. And as mentioned again, if you do have any questions, please write them down in the chat facility. And if you're having any trouble hearing us as well, please let us know. But yeah, please do ask questions, and we'll try and answer them for you all at the end. So I'll pass you over to Brian.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you, Natalie, for that wonderful introduction. And it's a pleasure to be here with you tonight and colleagues who are interested in the Perioperative Practice BSc Top-Up programme. So this program is a unique program. It's an exciting and a remarkable program as well, because it's an accumulation of lots of years of experience at Derby, but also with colleagues in the academic team in perioperative practice. Now, I'd like to tell you a little bit about this program and answer some of your questions along the journey. So, perioperative practice. There's five key things that I want to share today. I want to introduce you to the course and the module content. I want to introduce you to the academic team and give you an overview of the online learning experience that you'll receive as a student if you study with us. And I'll tell you a little about the innovation, cutting edge resources that we're using within the learning experience. Also to give you time and to ask any questions towards the end or on the journey that we have this evening. So the actual academic team is led by Vicky Cockrell, and Vicky has a wealth of experience in mental health nursing, and she is also a cognitive behavioural therapist and counsellor. She understands the academic systems extremely well and helps to guide the team forward in creating innovation as well as pushing the boundaries of higher education. So Vicky is our leading light. And my name is Brian Smith, and I'm a National Teaching Fellow in the UK, as well as a perioperative practitioner. I still practice today. I've got 32 years of experience, and I've been teaching from clinical education to higher education for best part of 27 years. But I've been instrumental in pushing the boundaries on standards in operating department practice globally, not just in the UK, and I'm privileged to be able to sit on the board of one of the professional bodies in the UK. So given that experience, it's drawn together to provide this particular course for you. The course is aimed at operating department practitioners who may have come from a traditional background with an old qualification such as 752 Sitting Guilds, NVQ level 3, or perhaps a diploma in higher education. It's also aimed at registered nurses working globally, whether in the UK or in an international context. And many nurses have undertaken degree programs or diploma programs and are looking to top up and have a theatre qualification. This is ideal for those type of individuals. Also, it appeals to anaesthetic technicians or surgical technicians working in different countries, because some of those roles that are happening in the UK are undertaken by different types of professional groups in many countries. So this appeals to anybody who is working in a perioperative theatre environment or an environment that's adjacent to it, such as endoscopy suite, such as day case surgery as well, or perhaps even those who might be working in the military, in field hospitals, in remote rural locations, and even those who might be working on mercy ships, who might find it interesting to top up their qualification and show that they have a UK registered qualification from the University of Derby. It also appeals to freelance agency staff or locum staff working in hospital settings. So it's open to anybody in any location working in a perioperative setting. The program aims are to develop practitioners who can evidence-based their actual practice. So the activities that are happening in the perioperative environment, they can show and they can cite where the evidence is coming from, such as using the WHO, the World Health Organization, surgical safety checklist, or perhaps evidence that underpins the practice that they're undertaking in orthopedic surgery, or perhaps in cardiovascular surgery, or even anesthesia. So it is about developing critical thinkers. It's about developing evidence-based practice to support your your activity, and it's also about helping you on that journey of a lifelong learner, to encourage you to continually question, to continually look at policy or to look at training legislation, to try and encourage that advancement in perioperative practice for the future generation. So we are very keen to prepare practitioners for the next 10 to 20 years, and we do draw upon different approaches to looking at your current practice, but we also look at your transferable skills that you can acquire at this top-up degree level and that you might take into leadership and management for the future, or perhaps be involved in clinical trials or clinical evaluations of activities, or perhaps audit reports. So it's not just about perioperative practice, it's developing skills for the future as well. So how is the program structured? Well, the program is structured with 6 20 credit modules. That's 6 20 credit modules to make up the 120 credits for the top-up degree aspect. And each module is around about £735 each. So that's 735 British pounds for each 20 credit module. And you can see in this diagram that we have a webinar that starts before the actual module begins. And we use webinars as a taster session to allow people to come in and get a feel for the actual content, the context, the delivery style, the innovations in the resources that we use. And it helps you build up your understanding of what's expected within the actual module itself. This pathway, as you can see, takes you from integrated practices to mentoring in practice, care of the surgical patient, to managing the acutely ill patient, and preparing research and evidence-based practice to actually research and evidence in practice. So this is preparing you to identify that evidence-based practice that supports your current practice, but also enhancing it further in the future. And throughout these modules, you will see that we have formative assessments. The whole idea of formative assessment is to give you points where you can actually self-reflect, create some sort of recognition on your achievement along the journey for yourself, but also build up on the learning experience so that you can get to the end assessment of each module, the summative assessment, and undertake your assignment or your activity that actually shows that you meet the learning outcomes that's been set in each of these modules. You'll also notice that we have virtual patients identified at the top here. We have a number of virtual patients in our whole program that you will meet. You'll get to know really well. You'll understand the medical history as well as the background, why they're coming into the theatre setting to be operated upon. You'll understand where you can actually use activities to ask questions of the individual to get responses back from them. You also meet our virtual patients in a virtual theatre environment. We've actually created virtual theatre using the latest 3D virtual reality simulation technique. And don't worry, you don't need any special equipment. You can access it through a browser, such as what you're using at this point in time. You will enter into the virtual theatre to undertake some assessments, and you'll be able to interact with the patients that are undergoing different operations, such as hip operations, and you'll see the operation, but also see the reaction to anesthesia, etc. So the virtual patients alongside the virtual theatre environment is meant to be a simulated experience so that you can start to make decisions or practice the activities that we will encounter throughout the learning experience in this program itself. We also have a residential. We have a residential at the end of the managing the acutely ill patient. The idea of the residential is that you can come along virtually or you can come along physically to the location, and you will augment, you will strengthen some of the activities in workshops that we've been undertaking throughout the program. You'll also hear some new information from clinicians, from anesthesiologists, and at the same time you'll see your virtual patients for real. They'll be walking around and they'll be talking to people about the their care, about how they're feeling, and how they feel after the operations that they've undertaken. So this is quite an exciting and innovative program because it does lead into a recognised UK degree, one that is cognizant of the degree standards that's written by professional bodies such as the College of Operating Department Practice and also the Association for Perioperative Practice. So what we've done here is we've made sure that we have taken consideration all the curriculum advice. We've also considered some of the changes that will take place in perioperative practice in the coming months as well as years. We've also collaborated with the Perioperative Medicines Advisory Group in the UK to find out what we will see changes in roles within the next 5 years. And we've also considered the changes globally, looking at different roles in different countries, and try to address this through our internationalized curriculum. What we've done within the program is to not just make it UK-centric, but to actually make it globalized so that it pertains to any country at any point in time in their development and also provision of perioperative practice for the surgical patient. This is an extremely flexible study program, and it's one that allows you to balance your work commitments as well as your family commitments. So you'll find that there'll be some live sessions in there that we will have about 3 live sessions in each module. You'll hear the guest speakers come in and talk, but don't worry if you can't make those live sessions. We'll actually record those as well, and you can come in at any point in time and look at the archives. You'll also find there'll be ongoing discussions in the online international forum where we'll be debating different topics, and we'll be showing our critical thinking around it, which all builds towards your assignment at the end of each module in this program. As I've said before, you'll meet some clinicians. You'll also be able to access the library. We will have a virtual library of 360-degree operations and anaesthetic techniques. So you'll be able to watch different types of surgery being undertaken, different types of anaesthetics from general anaesthesia to regional or topical. So you'll be able to come back and go into that environment as regular as you want to and expand your knowledge. You can use it as an aide-memoire, so if you're actually in practice and you want to remember about a few things that you saw before you actually deal with a particular patient, you can go online in the work setting and actually access the library of 360-degree videos too. So as I've said, we'll introduce you to our virtual patients who you'll find very interesting, and will come with very complex medical conditions as well. So we will take you through the program gently and gracefully with finesse, and you'll enjoy the experience as much as we enjoy it teaching it too. The access to the modules, you'll find that tutors will be online regular, and they will be conversing at least 5 times a week, sometimes more. You'll find that the communication is very regular and very fluid as well, because given the time zones that everybody is located in, well, you'll find that they'll answer questions at different times of the day. There is lots of learning activities to do. There's lots of summative assessments as well as formative assessments all the way through the program, but there is plenty of opportunity to explore. The virtual theatre is designed in such a way that you can open the cupboards, you can pick items up, you can double click on the items and you get access to different information. You'll even find that you'll be connected to product information from the companies that actually supply the equipment. So if you're in an operating theatre and you're thinking about buying new anaesthetic machines and you're involved in the procurement, you might find that we're double clicking on one of our virtual anaesthetic machines that you see product information that might be of interest and might support your procurement process. The discussion boards are always lively. with lots of information taking place, and lots of discussion to and fro colleagues, lots of friendships developed in the discussion forums as well, which is fantastic to see. And we encourage that. We encourage you to just share ideas or share the research that you've found, or perhaps just ask any question that you want to clarify for your career progression throughout the program and beyond. So we've talked about interacting with each other. The main thing that we try to get across to students or potential students, the University of Derby are extremely proud of delivering a truly online program that ensures that individuals don't feel as if they are on their own. We don't just give you information to work with, we actually work with you with that information, and we create a real sense of community of practice so that we can actually discover and rediscover the information together as we go through the modules. It's fully online. So you need to be working in a clinical perioperative environment that will complement what you learn and give you a chance to put it into practice. But there's no real attendance required at the University of Derby in the UK. So everything's catered for online. It's interprofessional in nature, because we invite guest speakers from different professional backgrounds, such as consultant plastic surgeons to consultant anaesthetists, as well as consultant nurses to be involved. We make sure that the education revolves around simulated virtual patients, because virtual patients help us to make sense of how we apply the knowledge that we gain and develop our skill set in how we communicate. The discussion boards help us also refine our digital writing skills, our articulation of our points, and in this particular discussion boards, this helps us to think about how we're going to express ourselves or express the points when we get to the end assessment too. The activities are authentic. They are designed from years of experience around patients that some of us have actually cared for, and we have obviously changed the names and identity of any patients that we might refer to in our storytelling or our case studies. And what we try to do is get you to collaborate around those particular case studies so that you can argue what's the right way to approach different aspects for promoting safer surgery. As I've mentioned before, there is formative assessments and the summative assessments. So formative assessments build up the picture, build up the journey, build up the enjoyment factor, and give you a chance to self-reflect on where you are at any point in time in your learning. Summative assessments are the end assessments that we ask you to undertake, that will be marked and moderated by our team. Academic and clinical skills. The academic skills are developed, as I've said, through all the activities throughout this program. Your clinical skills are developed more in your practice area of taking the learning and applying it into the context where you work. And the live sessions are usually live sessions like these, with students asking questions. A theme is delivered where students will be able to then come back with questions and create some sort of critical debate. Contact with your tutors is really key within this program. We like to keep in contact on a regular basis, and that's usually through Skype, email or telephone. In particular with myself, I like to have the initial conversation with the students when they come onto a program or onto module, and I like to phone them or like to talk to them through Skype just to get a sense of what they're hoping to achieve throughout this program. But you can call us on any point throughout the program or drop us an email. It's usually advisable to drop an email first to touch base, and we will come back to you very, very quickly. So that's roughly about the introduction that you will experience from us. This slide tells you a little bit about the reading list, and what we've done here is carefully unpacked and carefully picked up the books and journals that and resources that we think are applicable to this particular program, and these are resources drawn from a global audience. So you might find that we'll be looking at some research that's been written in different countries, and what we'll be doing is asking ourselves the question of how does this research apply to our own practice in the country that we reside in. Our library colleagues at the University of Derby also run some live sessions on Blackboard in this sort of manner. They will actually talk you through how to write in an academic format, what critical writing is, perhaps even looking for literature review, so using search terms to find some research relating to a particular theme, and that could be anything that you might want to look at in your assignment. So we draw upon our experts in the university to help us guide you throughout the whole writing aspect in this module and programs. So you have lots of content and lots of contact with the tutors, and you're never alone. We're always with you. Each step of the journey. If there is a silent period where the tutors haven't heard from you within the 3-week period, what normally happens is we will drop you a line just to check everything's okay and see if there's anything that we can support you with. Sometimes it may be that you get stuck on a particular theme, and what we do is we help to unlock that and help you understand what that means in terms of clinical practice. So the term starts, as you've heard from Natalie, there's 3 points in the year that the term starts, and this term is due to start again on Tuesday the 30th of May, which is really round the corner, and it's looking quite exciting because there's many students on this particular program, and we have great activities ahead for you. So what we advise is that to get into this program very, very early on, we ask that you submit your application by the Friday the 12th of May. So that's Friday the 12th of May 2017 this year. We have our online learning advisor who will help us receive some of those applications and help process you very rapidly into the program, because we like to get you in and settled very, very quickly. So please, if you have an application already and you're excited about this program, want to join us, get your application in very quickly. Enrollment opens on Wednesday the 19th of April. So we ask you to do it promptly, and let's get you started into the program as quick as possible. Payments options, there's different payment options available. Please do discuss them when you submit your application, and I'm sure my colleagues will help you adjust it accordingly to your own particular needs. There is some general advice available around enrollment, enrolling promptly, as much as reading the module guides thoroughly. We do ask students to read the module guides thoroughly and ask questions if there's uncertainty about what's required of you. We also like to check that students are aware that we will send correspondence through their email account, which is the university email account, rather than your own personal account. We know that you like to use your own personal accounts, but for us to make sure that we've sent you information, we tend to send it through the student email account. So use that as often as possible, and check, because sometimes there's module announcements that we put out on a frequent basis just to give you an update on what's happening. We like to keep in touch with you on a regular basis. So please do use the student email account. And although this slide says try and participate in group discussions, I think it's very hard not to participate in this program, because the content that we have is very rich, very exciting, and there's always lots of discussions around. So please do enjoy the participation, offer your thoughts up around perioperative practice, share what you do in your country, in your location, in your practice setting. There's something that we will learn from each other if you do share what your experience is. And Of course, if there's any unexpected issues that happen, they do happen sometimes, but if there is unexpected issues, please don't hesitate to either contact one of the tutors or contact the online learning advisors. We're always here to help and make sure that we give you the right support throughout the program. It's important that you enjoy this experience because it's your qualification, it's your UK recognised qualification that you'll gain from your achievements at the end of it. So let's turn this over to you and ask if there's any questions. So if there's any questions, please do let us know.
Oh, thank Brian. Yes, I'd also like to add you can contact our online learning advisors as well. So I will pop their details in the chat there in case you want to ask any more questions, or if you think of any after the chat. So please don't hesitate to ask. But we will be here for a little while if you think of any questions that you would like to ask. But thank you for that, Brian. It was really informative.
Very welcome. I think I think the colleagues online will appreciate the experience and the passion that comes through from the University of Derby, because this is a programme that is changing the way we see perioperative practice in the UK, and I think I think the international experience that we've got could be shared amongst us all. I'm sure colleagues are out there working in the fields in different countries, and I think they're probably doing something different and much more innovative than some other countries. And it'd be great if we can get a sense of what that perioperative richness is.
Yes, definitely. So I'm just going to put the link here as well to our perioperative practice course. So you can have more. There will be more information there about the fees, the modules, the entry criteria, a bit about career information, and a bit of information about us being endorsed by the AFPP as well. So if you'd like to read that, that is available there as well. So Elaine, you've asked, hi Brian, is this a 12-month course or how long is it? So I'll pass that over to you, Brian, to answer.
Yeah, sure. Hello, Elaine, and welcome to this webinar. The course is usually takes 2 years part-time because of the balance between work activities and home life activities as well. You have up to 4 years to take this course, but most people will probably do it in about 2 years. The modules run sequentially, one after the other as well, so that's where the 2-year time frame comes in. It's designed in that way because if you did it over 12 months, it would be extremely packed full year for you, and you might be able to do it in 12 months if you were working part-time, possibly, but we recommend that you take the 2 years to actually do it gracefully and enjoy the actual experience itself. It's quite an intense course, but it's actually something that is most enjoyable for many people.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Brian. Are there any more questions on the course or anything about online learning in general? So yes, Elaine, you've asked, thanks. So is it at your own pace or to a schedule? So Brian, would you like to answer that one?
Yeah, I would say we have an endpoint for each of the modules, but the actual part in the middle between the start and end point of each module can be done at your own pace. You don't have to be online at a certain time for the tutors been online or for. There is some live sessions scheduled, but you don't have to be online to actually watch those or participate in those. They're archived. So there is a start point, there's an end point when you have to submit your assignment, but in between it's at your own pace. Some people prefer to study in the morning. That's okay. Some people prefer to just do Monday, Tuesdays. That's fine too. It depends on what your arrangements are in your busy life. Yeah, it has a bit of both actually. There is a start and finish schedule, if you like, and there's also flexibility for you to do as much as studying as you want at different time factors during the day.
Yes, and if you are looking to study this course in May, our application deadline is the 12th of May, so you've got plenty of time to get your application in and get any documents that our admissions team might need. So, and terms does start on Tuesday, the 30th of May. So you've got a bit of time before it starts there as well. Excellent. Well, are there any more questions that you'd like to ask? So again, you can get in touch with us with our online admissions team that I've put the contact details for above there. So please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. And I'm sure, Brian, you won't mind answering any other questions that might come in after the chat or during the chat as well.
No, I'm very happy to answer any questions at any point in time, and even questions that individuals may have, even if they didn't study at the University of Derby online. Most people know who I am, and I'm always contactable. So I do hope that you join us in this wonderful program, and please do keep in touch and ask any questions of myself, Natalie, or any of the team at the University of Derby.
You're most welcome. So if there's no more questions, we'll probably start to round up the webinar. So again, if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask us. But thank you everyone for joining us this evening, and thank you, Brian, for giving us a very detailed overview of our perioperative practice program. So I hope everybody found it useful and insightful. We will also be sending out the recording over Easter as well, so you'll have that available as well to look back at if you want to go over anything there. So yes, thank you everyone for joining this evening.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.